All right, so I got my metal back. They were able to bend it and make the angles match the transom in the back. The bends are still too close together, about 3/4 of an inch off. So I'll have to trim that when I set it down in there to tack it in. But this is the beginning of the process of welding the hole. These are just little pieces of flat bar that they sent with it, and you tack them on the bottom, and they're used to actually set up and align the outer hull sections level with the center keel. That's why I was saying the bends on that keel determine the angle of the bottom of the hull. And this outer keel section is like 1/4 inch, or I don't know, it's 5 millimeter, I think, something like that. Center keel is 10 millimeter, which is like 0.4 inches, somewhere in there. So on the top, you obviously have a raised edge. No big deal. Actually kind of makes it nice for welding. But so this is the side I'm working on now. It looks like underneath, I'm just using wood to block it up, and trying to clamp it, but I don't have a real long clamp, so I'm going to probably end up blocking and weighting, something to that effect. Just weight down the top and get it to lay flat on those pieces. And you're supposed to start from the back, work your way forward. And when you get all that tacked in, you end up pulling the two front pieces together. And there's a brace that you weld in right here in this front section to set the width. When you start welding all that together, let's see. Yeah, so these are the instructions. They're not super detailed, but they tell you what you need to know, I suppose. There's that brace, and they give you the width of the boat at that point in millimeters, depending on the size you're building. This one's a 3.8 meters, so, and that brace has to be high enough so that you can get your engine bearer assembly in underneath it and weld it while it's still there. So I'll end up probably manufacturing something and probably out of steel, bolt some aluminum to it. I really don't have that much aluminum sitting around. I've got some flat bar, but it's only like 1.5 inches or something by 3/16. I don't know if it'd be strong enough. But whatever, you have to make that, pull it together and then tack it in so that the boat maintains the proper width as you continue on with the job. So anyway, that'll be after I get this front section done. These are the stringers, the engine bearer assembly. You weld those together on the floor, and then you put them in the boat and weld those in. And you tack them together, according to the instructions. So this is what it ends up looking like. Now I don't have that toe plate, so I'm not sure. I'll probably just end up, I don't know if that's something that's helping set the width, but it doesn't look like it. So it doesn't really matter, I don't think, if you have it. It's not like a necessary foot plate or whatever they call it, toe assembly. And then add this. After that, you add in the chines, which are on the front outer edge, because previously you got this, this section right here comes forward. You're adding pieces in there that match that. Tacking it in towards the front. So I don't know if I actually get that far today, but when I get far enough in, if there's something that seems like it's noteworthy, then I'll make another video. But then after all that's done, you're working on the intake. And that's the real critical point. The intake has to, be in the right height, and, the right angles, and that's where I have to check is make sure the motor is going to mount in the boat with the intake, where it ends up at. So, that's definitely some critical stuff there. So that'll be next after getting the rest of this done, and I'm sure I'll have videos on that.